Hello everybody, I am Dr. Ruhi Bakhare and this session is dedicated to understanding of business ethics. Now, whenever we talk about ethics, what exactly it is? It is the word which has come from Greek language. It means custom, usage or character. It is the science of ideal human character or moral duties. Ethics is defined by Dr. Albert Schweitzer as the name we give to our concern for good behavior. We feel an obligation to consider not only our own personal well-being but also that of others and of human society as a whole. This was a definition by a great author. But whenever we talk about ethics in our life, it is very difficult to define because the things which seems to be ethical for one individual may not be ethical from someone else. Ethics is very subjective in nature. It is the branch of philosophy that focuses on morality and the way in which moral principles are applied to everyday life. Ethics has to do with fundamental questions such as what is fair, what is just, what is right thing to do in a particular situation. It also involves an active process of applying values, which may range from religious principles to customs and traditions. A simple definition of ethics could be specific employee behavior generally valued and sought after by a firm. Whenever we try to classify the ethics, the study can be classified broadly into three different types. First is normative ethics, second one is applied ethics, and third is meta-ethics. Whenever we talk about normative ethics, it is nothing but the study of moral standards which are to determine the right and wrong things with respect to a particular situation. The scope for normative ethics is general moral science. The second type is the applied ethics, which is the study of specific issues related to the business ethics. And the scope is limited to specific human behavioral action. Third is the meta-ethics. It is nothing but the cognitive study of the ultimate principles of ethics, their origin and the meaning. The conceptual scope is in the philosophy. This was the general ethics, but whenever we try to apply ethics in the business, it focuses on what constitute right and wrong behavior in the world of business. The principles which seems to be ethical in personal life may not be ethical in the business life. At times, personal ethics and business ethics may be different for the same individual. Corporate business executives have a responsibility to their stakeholders, the employees, to make decisions that will help their business make a profit. And this is the reason for that why business ethics and personal ethics may be different. But in doing so, business people also have a responsibility towards public and themselves to maintain the ethical principles. The use of resources, if we try to identify for business ethics, any business organization is supposed to use its resources very judiciously, and and always they should try to engage in the activities designed to increase its profits as long as it remains within the framework of the rules. Many management theories place too much emphasis on efficient use of resources and maximizing the profit. Whenever we try to compare and whenever we try to identify the relationship between business and the ethics, there does not seem to be any commonality between these two terms. While the objective of business is to maximize the profit and return to the shareholders, whereas ethics deals with the benevolence, charity, and the social responsibility. The holistic understanding of ethics is much wider and covers the entire gamut of business operations carried out in a transparent manner following some principles. The relationship between ethics and business, or say the law and the ethics, is like law is an expression of ethical beliefs of the society. Law and ethics are not the same thing, which is one of the very important things which we must always remember in the mind. The question is an the question is an act legal? It is different than the question, is the act ethical? The law cannot codify all ethical requirement, and that is why law and ethics are different. Similarly, just because an act is illegal does not necessarily mean that it is immoral. Should an individual obey the law even if it would be unethical to do so? Is the question in this can be the question in anybody's mind. And so we must try to understand these things, that law often represents ethical minimum, and ethics always represents a standard that exceeds legal minimum. Now, let us have a look into this diagram wherein the three circles of ethical responsibilities, legal responsibilities, and economic responsibility, they are intersecting with each other at certain points. And a businessman has to always keep in his mind that he must have the business which is profitable, legal, and ethical. That is the intersection of all these three circles. Excluding any of this responsibility will make him fall in trouble. That is why we have tried to define economics, or say business ethics, in these words. Like, business ethics is rules, standards, codes, principles which provide guidelines for morally right behavior and truthfulness in specific situation. This definition is given by Levi's, whereas another definition talks about ethics, or say business ethics, specifically in this way, that it refers to the clear standards and the norms that help employees to distinguish right and wrong behavior at work. This definition is given by the Ethics Resource Center. There are four elements of business ethics. First is the framework, that is the sets, the standards, the codes, the principles, the do's and don'ts, the philosophies of the business, etc. The second element is the internal development of ethical traits, that is the development of virtues, values, and morals. Third one is the situation, and fourth is the behavior. These are the four elements of a business ethics. At the same time, the three R's are equally important in every business. The three pillars of business ethics: respect, responsibility, and result. Respect for the people, the stakeholders, responsibility towards them, and the results, the expected results of the business, that is, earning the profit ethically to run the business. Let us try to understand the nature of business ethics, which is very, very complex. But yet, we must try to understand it. We must try to decode the exact understanding of business ethics in our own business language. The business ethics is very dynamic, interdependent on so many different factors, and subjective in nature. That was all with respect to the understanding of business ethics. Thank you. Thank you so much.